Hi besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I missed you guys so much. If you have not caught my previous video, I did a previous video on my lip kits. This is one of my lip kits. It looks so fucking good. I'm obsessed with it. But anyways, so what I'll be talking about in this video is being a single mom. How I became a single mom, why I became a single mom, how I'm doing, my experience of being a single mom as my son is growing up, and where I'm at now. And the stigma behind being a single mom. You know, the stigma behind being a single mom, they think that we are all bitter. They think that we are all miserable. They think that we are all broke. They think that we are all struggling. They think that we just don't have shit. We don't got nothing going on. It's just being a single mom. When people hear being a single mom, it's like they run the other way or whatever. But everybody is not like that. Not a lot of single moms are like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie and say all single moms are not bitter, because there are some bitter ones out there. But again, I'm not bitter. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So how I became a single mom. My son, his name is Princeton. He is 9. So I've had him for 9 years. He's 9. And I became a single mom when I found that I was pregnant. Yeah. I went through so much with my son's dad. We did not plan him. We were not even supposed to have him. He was not planned. He definitely was not planned at all. This was not we're gonna be a family, we're gonna sell off into the moon, we're gonna get married. Like, no, that's not what that was. We actually met like around 2011, 2012. This is when his daughter was still like a really young baby. I should have ran the other way when I seen, because I remember our time and our little era like it was like the back of my hand. I remember everything vividly. So when I met him online, Plenty of Fish, a dating website. I had met him online. He was cool, but he was also like fine as fuck. My baby daddy's still fine as fuck today. And no, we're not together, but my baby daddy's still fine as fuck. But we met on a dating app, Plenty of Fish. If y'all know Plenty of Fish was the shit, okay? It was literally, that was the dating app back in the day or whatever. So I met him back in 2011, okay? He had a little girl. He did have a little girl. She was literally like a baby. Like, she had to have been, she was in the months. She was not even in the years. She was in her months, okay? I should have ran the other way then. I should have ran the other way when I went to go see him, and I got on 16 different highways to go see him. That's when I really should have ran, okay? He lived in Arlington and I lived in Plano. I didn't know shit about Arlington. Arlington was fucking far as fuck. All I knew was Six Flags and Hurricane Harbor was in Arlington. And the damn football stadium was out there. That's literally the only thing that I knew was out there. But anyways. So I met him or whatever, and we started fucking around or whatever. We was cool and shit like that. We started fucking around and cool or whatever the case may be. So again, like I stated, Princeton was not planned, okay? He was not planned. Now, me and my baby daddy, we started dating. You know what I'm saying? We started dating for a little while, and he ended up breaking things off at freaking Golden Corral. Like, I remember that fucking night like verbatim. Like, we was kicking it, and also I was a virgin when I met him. So I lost my virginity to my baby daddy, and I had my first kid by my baby daddy. So that's why it was so tough with us, and that's why I was like, I loved him so much or whatever, but that's because I lost my virginity to him. And then I had my first kid with him. Enough said right there. But anyways, but yeah, like we was dating for a little bit, and he broke on me at Golden Corral. And I remember that. And he was so his mood was so off. And y'all know I'm a lover girl and stuff like that, but I knew something was wrong. And I'm like, what is going on? What's wrong or whatever? And that's when he just broke up with me or whatever. And I cried about it. Big. I'm like, damn, what I do, etc. I'm not gonna go into detail in this video of you know, the relationship, the history, everything that me and my baby daddy went through, that'll save that for another video. And I'll let my baby daddy know as well, like, you know, that I'm gonna do a video about that. Again, I don't have to let him know that, but I will. So yeah, he broke up with me at Golden Corral. He was going back to his baby mother at that time, or he didn't say going back to his baby mother, which is his daughter's mother. He stated that he still had feelings for his daughter's mother. I'm like, oh, okay. So he broke up with me or whatever. I was very heartbroken, very distraught. But yeah. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I was on Depo. Okay, I was literally on birth control. I was on a Depo shot, and I was on a Depo shot because I was blowing the fuck up. Like, I was literally getting huge, okay, on that Depo shot. So I was on the Depo shot, and again, I got pregnant on the Depo shot. And I knew that I was pregnant because, you know, when we had intercourse, I was like, you know, kind of having a little shark week and stuff every time or whatever. And I couldn't figure out what was going on or whatever. My boobs were so tender, but I didn't think anything of it, because I'm telling you, the last thing I was thinking about was being pregnant, okay? So one day, and he felt it, you know what I'm saying? My baby daddy felt it. He called it and he felt it or whatever. But he didn't we couldn't confirm it or anything like that, but he started getting sick. And I'm just like, no, that's not it or whatever. And again, at that time period, me and him were living together in our apartment in Dallas. So I'm like, I don't know. So on the weekends he would go and leave or whatever. So the weekend came, he left or whatever, went back home to his parents' house or whatever and whatnot. And I was like, let me go to the doctor. So bitch, I went to the doctor. And she was like, is there any chance that you may be pregnant or anything like that? And I'm like, bitch, no. Why the fuck do you keep asking me that? I'm like, no, I'm on birth control. And she's like, okay, we just have to ask. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. No, I'm not pregnant. Let's get with it. What's going on? Why does my boobs hurt? Why am I bleeding, during intercourse or whatever? And baby, I'm in the room, right? I'm like, girl, confident, like, bitch, I don't know what it is, but we're going to find out today. Girl, that lady bust up in that room. She bust up in that hospital room. And she's like, yeah, that P test that you did is positive. And I was like, positive for what? I said, bitch, do it again, because it's not. It ain't. I'm on birth control. So then she did it again. She said, yep, ma'am, it's positive. She started rolling her kit in. I'm talking about the ultrasound kits and shit like that. She started rolling that shit in. I said, hold up. Wait a minute. You moving too fast. You taking me too fast, sister girl. You're taking me too fast. It's like she was excited more than me. And like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? So then now I'm sitting here and I'm crying. I call my homegirl Chutney at the time. I call her because Chutney gave me, when I tell y'all, my girl Chutney gave me shit. She was like, bitch, don't get fucking pregnant by him. Do not get pregnant by him. She drew that shit in my head. So I called her and I'm like, bitch, I'm at the hospital and bitch, I'm pregnant. And she said, bitch, what? So she asked me the question. She said, bitch, what we finna do? And I said, bitch, I don't know. Like, I don't believe in abortions. I don't know. And I'm thinking the worst, like, if you can, what if I get an abortion and then when I want to have a kid, I can't have a kid because, I don't have an abortion. Like, everybody's body works differently and stuff like that. So that was the longest weekend of my entire life because I still had to tell him, which is my baby daddy, I had to tell him that I was pregnant. And again, he had already, we already did not want kids. And again, we weren't even together at this particular time when I was pregnant. We weren't together at this time. We weren't even like, there was no family. That's not how that was supposed to go. We were living together. We were still fucking around. Like, we were literally acting like we were together, but we had ended our relationship like way before Princeton or whatever. So we just kept going of how we operated. We just didn't have the title. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, that was literally the longest fucking weekend of my entire life. Literally the longest weekend of my entire life. I was sweating. I just could not function on the fact of the matter is that, bitch, I'm literally pregnant and bitch, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, what are you finna do? I don't know, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all, like that was not in the fucking plan. And I'm like, bitch, this was not in the motherfucking plans. Like, I just could not believe it. And I just kept saying, like, why the fuck am I pregnant if I was literally on birth control? And I remember why is because when I was getting sick, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of times where I was getting sick and I was going to the doctor and they were giving me antibiotics. And like whether I had a cold or whatever it is, they were giving me antibiotics. I didn't know the antibiotics was basically interrupting the depot, you know, the depot shot in me. Because when you get antibiotics, it's clearing everything in your body. And it was clearing the depot shot. Again, I didn't know that. So that's why I had ended up getting, I believe that's why I ended up getting pregnant, is because there was times where I was sick, you know, like getting colds or ear infections or any, you know, all that type of stuff like that. Nothing major, just minor shit, but I was always giving like antibiotics for different things. So that antibiotics was disrupting the depot, and I didn't know that. I did not know that or anything like that, because baby, when I tell you, me and my baby daddy was fucking like dog, like we were fucking, okay? Like, this is my channel, so I'm gonna be real blunt and honest about it. We was fucking, okay? And we was fucking a lot. We were fucking a lot. But anyways, yeah, I was so in love with my baby daddy. But anyways, again, this is not what the video is about. I'm not gonna go into detail of my baby daddy or anything. I'm just detailing how the fuck I became a single mom. So I ended up telling, so mind you, this was over the weekend, and I love seafood. I love seafood. Me and my friend had went out to eat. Bitch, I had that news. I needed to figure out what the fuck I was finna do. Okay, I needed to know what I was finna do. And bitch, we finna go handle that, or we finna go start buying some clothes for it, or what we finna do? I didn't know. I did not know what to do. I did not know what the fuck to do, y'all. I was in distraught. So we went out for seafood at a seafood boil. I ate a seafood boil. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I threw that shit up. Like, seafood, during my pregnancy, seafood was not the best friend of me. Like, literally was not the best friend of me. Anyways, so this was over the weekend. This is the longest weekend of my entire life. Literally the entire life. Like, I swear to God, this particular weekend was so fucking long. I wanted to call and tell him, and I talked to him over the weekend. He just checked on me, see how I'm doing or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, I'm good or whatever. And I could not tell him over that phone. I needed him to come home so we can have a face-to-face conversation. So he ended up coming home Sunday night or whatever. And Monday I woke up and I was like, I had told him I went to the doctor. I was like, yeah, I went to the doctor. And I remember this part, baby. We was in the bed together. He was asleep. And when we were in the bed, I was like, I couldn't sleep because I'm like looking at him like, this nigga's trying to flip shit. So I tell him, I'm like, yeah. He was like, how did the doctors go? I'm like, it was good. And I just paused. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, they told me I was pregnant. Girl, I try to rush that part away. I'm like, yeah, they told me I was pregnant because anyway, again. Like, I tried to rush that part. He said, hold up, back the fuck. He said, what? He sat up. My baby daddy sat up, okay? He was laying down comfortably, bitch. He sat the fuck up. He said, what? And I was like, yeah. And then it went downhill because, again, like I stated, we dated for a little bit way prior to Princeton. And then, you know, way prior to me getting pregnant, everything like that, we dated. But then after that, I just knew that it wasn't going to work due to the fact of the type of fucking man that my baby daddy was as well. But we ended up removing that title. And again, we just ended up continue still fucking with each other or whatever. And it was just like we was together because, bitch, like we was living together. You know what I'm saying? We were living together and we were, we were living together, and at this, during this particular time, at this particular period of time, we were living together, and we ended up, we were hanging out all the time. We were together all the time. Like, shit, you might as well say we was back together back in a relationship. But, we were just doing us without a title at this point or whatever the case may be. And then he had his hoes and stuff like that. He kept that away from me, but I've always felt something or whatever. Like I'm like you doing something or whatever. But he tried to hide it, but oh Lord, yeah, I'm going too deep into it with the history of my baby daddy. Like I'm going too deep into it, and that's not what the video is about. But okay, anyway, let's get back to the story because I'm getting off grid, I'm getting off track or whatever, and I feel like I can tell the history in a whole different video of my baby daddy. But anyways, once I tell him about that, he ended up and like he was like, I don't want, I don't want any more kids. And like, shit, I don't want no kids either. And he was like, what you finna do? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm finna do. And I sat there and I pondered, and that's what really tore us like apart. Like it started once he found out I was pregnant, it got worse and it got weird between us. Like we went from being so close to each other, best friends, like hanging out with each other every day, seeing each other every day. We was living together. Like we spent a lot of fucking time together. You know what I'm saying? Like you see him, you see me, you see me, you see him. Like I was like at his basketball games. Like it was a lot of shit. Like we went from that to basically turning into like enemies, but I still loved him. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm like, I don't know. I was really thinking about taking care of it. Okay. I was really thinking about getting abortion, taking care of it. And I had, I knew people that had abortions or whatever, and their experience. And I just did not believe in that. I did not believe in that. I didn't want to believe in that. And I just knew that everybody's experience is different. And I'm like, what if I do that? And what if I'm not able to have kids in the future when I want kids or whatever? I was thinking of the worst things possible or whatever. I'm just like, oh my God, like what the fuck am I finna do? So I ended up saying I'm gonna keep it. And I knew then and there that I was gonna be a single mom because, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't having a baby to keep a nigga, you know what I'm saying? I just did not believe in an abortion at that, during that time period. Now ask me today about an abortion, baby, where do I need to fly to? Okay, like I don't want no more kids, baby. I don't want no more kids. I don't want no more kids. So back then, asking me about an abortion would have been like, no. But today, Whitney, you tell me I'm pregnant, bitch, I'm getting rid of it. I'm sorry to say, and God forbid, like, I don't wish that on nobody. Don't take no advice from me when it come down to that. I have to do what's best I'm doing what's best for me. And what's best for me is not having another kid right now, okay? I am on the Mirena IUD. I have been on the Mirena IUD now since my son turned 1. I have been on birth control since my son turned 1. I haven't had no slip-ups. I haven't had no issues where I'm thinking that I'm pregnant. I haven't had it, bitch. I had my baby and I sat the fuck down. I had 1 kid, sat the fuck down. Okay? Yeah. But anyways, so I didn't believe in abortions back then. You know what I'm saying? At that, during that time. So I was like, I'm gonna have my baby or whatever. And I kept my baby. You know what I'm saying? I didn't keep my baby because it was gonna keep him or anything like that. At that point, I knew where we were gonna go and what was gonna happen. I didn't think that all the shit that I went through, I was gonna go through that, but I knew that we were not finna sell off into the moon. We were not finna be one big happy family. We were not finna go down the aisle and get married. We weren't finna buy a little white picket fence. We weren't finna do any of that, and I knew that, which is the reason why I became a single mom the moment that I got pregnant. And then fast forward, I started learning. I learned a lot of things about. I went through a lot during that time period when I got pregnant. I went through a lot. I was very, very, very depressed. I was severely depressed. Nobody knew that I was depressed except for my friend Chutney and my old friend Tanasia. Like them two knew literally like everything that I went through when I was pregnant, because them two were like literally the only ones there for me when I went through my pregnancy. And that was more so by choice. It wasn't like nobody was there for me because they just was acting weird or nothing like that. Like, no. I was just letting them know and kept them, like, I was close to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really super close with them. I was with Chutney. So, like, I was with Chutney a lot. Chutney was literally there through the heartache, the heartbreaks, the crying, the depression, the sadness. She was there. She, you know what I'm saying? She was there. And she had a kid of her own, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know anything about kids, whatever, but she was there, you know what I'm saying? She was literally, when I say she was there, she was literally there, whatever. That was my road dog. During my pregnancy, bitch, that was my bitch, that was my road dog, or whatever. So anyways, I just knew at that time that I was a single mom. I didn't really talk about the baby or anything like that with him because of I was still in love with him, and I wanted a family with him. Even though I knew that we weren't going to have a family, we weren't going to be a family, and we weren't going to be married and all that type of shit, I wanted that. He knew that I wanted that. He knew that I cared about him a lot. He knew that I was in love with him. He knew everything. Now there was a lot of times where he like dib dab came in, all of that type of shit, but it wasn't to where I had a good experience during my pregnancy. I had a very healthy pregnancy. No complications, very healthy. I just had a very horrible experience. And again, that'll be a whole separate story in itself because I can go on for days about my experience. But I think my experience of being pregnant is the reason why I don't want any kids now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want any more kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, I have my baby, my boy, and that's it. I don't want any more kids or anything like that. So, I think that really just played its role. You know what I'm saying? I think that played its role for me, and I just kind of like left it at that, or whatever the case may be. So I just went on in life as, this is my baby. This is my baby. I got to do what's best for me. So I went to my doctor's appointments. I was at my doctor's appointments by myself. I worked every single day. One thing about me, and one thing's for certain, and two things for sure, I am a worker. I'm a very much so independent woman, and my mom instilled that in me. My mom had 3 kids, raised 3 kids on her own, went to school, and worked full time. I learned the hustle. I learned you gotta work. You gotta work to get so I worked. I worked while I was pregnant. I literally was at work on my due date, and he came late. So I had to get induced later, which is on September 1st. So I was supposed to have him in sometime at the end of August. He was late. I was at work on my due date. I'm a worker, but being at work made me so happy because I was around people that loved me, people that cared about me, people that wanted to see me happy. And it was just so much peace. But I was so depressed. I was very, very depressed. I was depressed because the shit that I was just going through with my baby daddy. I was depressed because he wasn't there. I was depressed that, I was depressed that he wasn't there. I was depressed that I wanted us. I wanted a family. I wanted everything. I was depressed on that. I was depressed on how he was treating me. I was depressed. Shit, bitch. Bitch was depressed. I really was depressed. Now, I wasn't depressed to where it was on paper. It's on paper and stuff like that, going to the doctor and shit like that. But I was depressed, okay? And I was always crying. So emotional. Oh my God, I was so fucking emotional. Man, I went through so much. When I tell you, I struggled back then. I was at a job. I wasn't making shit at that job. Having a baby and living on an apartment, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck at that time. And really going through evictions and stuff like that. Notices on your door and stuff like that. Car repossessions and shit like that. No money in your account or whatever, because I wasn't making shit at this job. So I think I was making under $15 at this job, and I'm living on my own. I'm living on my own in our apartment, and I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath or whatever. My brothers were staying there with me, and then I literally was just struggling. You know what I'm saying? I was struggling. real bad. And I was dealing with financial issues on top of being pregnant, on top of being alone, on top of being by myself, on top of like I really just wish that I could have have the family that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew that or whatever. I wasn't bitter or anything like that. I was very angry, you know. I was very, very severely angry. I was very severely depressed. And then once I had my baby, I knew everything was going to go away. My depression was going to go away. The sadness was going to go away. And all of that was going to go away because I felt like I wanted love so bad. And I wasn't going to get the love that I wanted. I wasn't going to get the happy ending that I wanted. And when God gave me my baby and God gave me my boy, I knew that like I was going to be loved again because he was going to love me unconditionally, which I mean, when I say he, my son was going to love me unconditionally. And when he came out, he slid right on out or whatever. He came at 12:32 p.m. on September 1st, 2015. And I looked at him and I just made the promise to always choose him. And even after I had my, then that's when everything was just reality. Bitch, I'm a single mom out here. I am a single fucking mom out here. Now, back then, being a single mom was very much so of a struggle. It fucked with my mental. It fucked with my emotions. It fucked with how I interacted with people. It fucked with, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like struggling. You know what I'm saying? Not having the help that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like my family helped me. My mom, my brothers, they helped me. But when I say help, I'm meaning help from the other person that helped me create the baby or whatever. And he was out doing his own thing. He didn't give a fuck about this baby. You know what I'm saying? So it was horrible. You know what I'm saying? That was a time where it was a lot of shit that happened when I had that baby. Okay, let me tell you. Oh my God. Like I'm gonna tell you. I'm trying not to say the history. Talk about the history of me and my baby daddy. That will have to literally be a whole separate video because, baby, when I tell you, we got history, you know what I'm saying? But where I'm at today, let me kind of back up. I did hate my baby daddy for a very long time. I hated him for a very, very long time. And it didn't dawn on me until I went to therapy like 2 years ago. I went to therapy and I started to talk about why I was feeling the way I felt and stuff and being a single mom and shit like that. And, my therapist was, she's like, talk about it. And I didn't realize that I hated my baby daddy at that time. I don't hate him now, but I hated him. I hated the way he treated me. I hated the way what I went through. I was so alone. I was by myself. And the relationship with, with our son and stuff like that back then, like it was just so much stuff going on. So I didn't really realize how upset that I was. I didn't really realize how upset that I was until I went to talk to my therapist at that time. This was like 2.5 years ago, like 2.5 years ago. So then, fast forward, things started to look up for me. My son is getting older. Again, I've accepted the fact that I am a single mom. His family is wonderful. My baby daddy's family is his mom, dad, sisters and stuff. They are amazing. They have always been very amazing to me. They've treated me with the utmost respect. They have always included me in everything. They literally have been there since day one of when they found out about Princeton and up until today. Like I have a really, really great relationship with them. Nothing negative to say about the family. They have always been there for me and my son. And where I'm at today is I'm healed from that situation. You know what I'm saying? From there, I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. I get up and I do it. Bitch, I got to go to work. I got to provide. I got to keep the roof over our heads. I need to provide this. I need to provide that, for my son. So That's how I became a single mom, and where I was back then and where I am now. My mental, I'm in a whole different space of where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't love my baby daddy no more. Not like that. I don't love him like that. I got love for my baby daddy, but I'm not in love with my baby daddy. That ship has sailed and went on. I do think that how I operate in life now and everything that I do, my son is at the first and the front line of it. Every decision I make, everything that I do is surrounded by him. He is at the forefront of every decision that I make. And I'm in a great space now. As far as in, bitch, I'm a single mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad about that. Because I'm not even gonna lie, I wasn't bitter about that, but I was very angry about that, being a single mom. I was very angry about that. And I'm no longer angry about that. Like, it's just kind of like it is what it is situation. I can say, like a couple of years ago, it still bothered me. It still bothered me because I was a single mom. And I would talk about that with my ex-boyfriend, the one that broke my heart, the one that I, found out on TikTok had another girlfriend. But anyways, I talked a lot about that with him. So my ex knew everything when it came down to the history with my baby daddy, everything that I went through when I was pregnant. I told him everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally let him know everything. So I was very upset about it. And you can tell because even when I talked to my friends about it a few years ago, I'm just like, I would get so bothered, you know what I'm saying, about things that I had to do and not having any help with him. And not help with as in like the grandmas and the uncles and the aunties and stuff, because they helped, but it wasn't their job. I'm talking about help from the person that helped me create them. And I was so angry about that, so upset. And I would find myself getting so upset, getting so worked up when he wasn't there, he wasn't doing this, or he wasn't doing that, or whatever the case may have been. I found myself getting so upset. And that's how I knew. I'm like, girl, I'm sounding to be bitter. And I wasn't bitter. I was just so upset. You know what I'm saying? I was just upset about being like doing this shit by myself or whatever the case may have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like that. You know what I'm saying? But then it's kind of like, bitch, you knew you were going to be a single mom. I knew I was going to be a single mom. We talked about this. You're supposed to accept this. And when I say we talked about this, meaning like I had this conversation with myself. We talked about this, girl. You knew you were gonna be a single mom, and we said that we got this. We said we're gonna do this, and I did say that. But then there are times where it's kind of like, bitch, like you out there living your motherfucking life, and you ain't, that shit started to piss me out. And when I needed him the most for our kid, and it was just a lot going on, or whatever the case may have been. So I wouldn't say that I was bitter, but I was mad or whatever. But I accepted the fact that, bitch, you are the mom, you're going to do this, and that's okay. My brothers are here, so it's cool. You know what I'm saying? So just a couple of years ago, I actually just got used to it. And not used to it, but I got to the point where I'm no longer getting mad about anything when it comes to, I'm not allowing my baby daddy to make me mad. I'm not asking him for anything or anything like that. So I don't ask him for nothing or anything like that. Now, how he was back then, no, my experience with him was horrible. It was shit. But his experience with someone else, and someone else has him, or whoever else, they're going to have a different experience. They're not going to have the same experience as I had or whatever. So that's why I don't talk a lot of shit about him or anything like that. Like, yeah, I do talk my shit about, shit that I've been through, or talk my shit about, the whole, not helping and shit like that. I do talk my shit about that. But like how he was back then mentally is not where he is today. He is a different person mentally today. We actually get along, for the most part. Now, we do be beefed out. He do be on block and shit like that. I don't be having no time for the bullshit. But But you know, like me and my baby daddy be beefing like the goddamn Bloods and the Crips, okay? We be beefing like the Bloods and the Crips, okay? We do. I'm not even gonna lie. He be on block a lot. But him, where he's at mentally and how he responds to things, how he, you know, what he speak on and stuff like that, he is completely different versus the experience that I had with him, and I definitely can say that. And again, I still consider myself a single mom. I still consider myself a single mom, but I'm not a bitter single mom. It's like a is what it is. It's like a is what it is type of situation. You accept it, you moved on. It's been 9 years. You know what I'm saying? It's been 9 years. I'm not dwelling on that or anything. So the point of my story is the stigma around being a single mom is not a bad thing. Like, it is a bad thing, okay, you know, because don't nobody want to be a single mom, but not everyone is bitter. Now, you don't have some hard shit in life happen, but not everyone is bitter. We're not all bitter. We're not all angry. We're not all miserable or anything like that. But what I can say is that having my kid and knowing that I was going to be a single mom, I sat the fuck down. I sat down. I sat my ass down. And I said, I'm not finna get pregnant no more. Because even though if I had a baby, you know what I'm saying, with somebody else, I may not have that experience. But baby, I'm not even finna go through that. I'm at a place now in my life where I'm happy, I'm good, I'm getting to be at peace, you know what I'm saying, still in my healing journey and stuff like that. But where I'm at now, baby, a baby can't come in there. Okay, a baby can't come, okay? One and done. When I tell you I had one and I sat my ass down, I was playing no games. People say that shit today. They was like, damn, you ain't had no slip up, bitch. No, I was not playing no games. What? In this economy, having a baby in this economy? Please. Having a baby not having a baby but having a baby in this economy and having a baby with that man in office? Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Hell fucking no. Like, hell no. And kudos to anybody that is pregnant or becoming pregnant or trying to get pregnant. Kudos to you. Definitely hope that you have a great experience or anything like that. But baby, fuck them kids. Respectfully, fuck them kids. I'm not having them more. But no, like my videos literally all over the place. Like, I wasn't trying to have the discussion of the history of my baby, you know, me and my baby daddy, because bitch, it's so much. It's literally so much. Like, we had good times. We had a lot of great times. But we had a lot of bad times as well. And when they were bad, they were bad. And when they were good, they were good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in love with my baby daddy. No. I got love for him because we got a baby together, obviously. But no, I don't love him. I don't want to be with him. Like, no, that ship, again, like I said, that ship has moved and sailed, okay? That ship has sailed on, or whatever the case may be. Who he is today isn't the same person of who he was back then. Mindset wise, he's not the same. You know what I'm saying? He's more calmer. He's more, he's always been intelligent, always been very smart, very educated, very, very smart man. Like, that's why I keep saying, like, he's a smart guy. Very cool guy, gets along with literally everybody. Like, he can literally talk to a whole stranger and have a whole freaking conversation with him. That's what I admired about him before I had Princeton. I'm like, he just randomly can have a whole conversation with people and don't know shit about him and just literally have conversations with him. But where he's at now is completely different from where he was back then, or whatever the case may be. But that's just my experience on how I became a single mom, y'all. And being a single mom is not something that you will want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to be a single mom. Nobody wants to do the shit by themselves. Like, every girl wants a family. Every girl wants, you know, they want a family. but a family just wasn't in my cards, and that's okay, you know. So one day it'll be in our cards or whatever. I wanted a family with my ex-boyfriend, but you know, that didn't happen. But this video is up. Again, subscribe to my channels. Thank you so